Good evening and welcome to the November 16, 2022 regular meeting of the Gates County Board of Commissioners. I am Dr. Anthony Riddick, the 2022 Chair of the Board, and I'm joined this evening by Commissioner Linda Hoffler, Vice Chair, Commissioner Jack Owens, Commissioner Ray Freeman, Commissioner Jonathan Craddock, County Manager Tim Wilson, County Attorney Pitt Godwin. Jolitha Chestnut is still absent. She's the clerk to the board. Let us stand for opening prayer and pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, it's again that we've gathered here at the governing body of Gates County to do your will and to do the business of the county. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to take care of us as we go through these meetings and all these agenda items. We pray, Heavenly Father, for the sick and shut in wherever they may be. We also pray for those who have lost loved ones since the last time we met. As we continue to do the business of the county, Heavenly Father, please remind us that we should be respectful of all in this meeting place. We also should be respectful of those in the county. We also be mindful that when we serve the least of us, we've served us all. When we leave this place, we ask for traveling mercies, just like you gave us when we arrived, and be with us through the night. And with your grace and mercy, wake us up in the morning to get it right another day. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will be taking notes tonight along with anyone else around this table who would like to help us. I'm going to ask Vice Chair Linda Hoffler to assist me in that. The clerk to the board is absent, and we will do our best to keep everything in order and move along with the agenda. The first order of business is approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chairman.
It's been properly moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Take a look at the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Been properly moved in second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
I ask for a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, A3, attorney-client privilege, and North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, A6, personnel. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
We're going into closed session. We will return Not yet?
No, yeah.
I need a motion to come out of closed session.
Approve,
So
so moved.
Second.
Been motion and approved to come out of closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We're out of closed session in the regular session. We have a motion on the floor from our regular meeting held on October the 19th, 2022. Is there any discussion about that motion?
Madam Chair, if I may, as a result of the closed session discussion among all commissioners, I will rescind my prior motion in the October 19th meeting.
Motion is rescinded. Next on the agenda is public comments. We have,
Before that, Madam Chairman, I think we want to make a motion too that $1,534.96.
gotcha, that was the first one. All right, we need to, you make the motion, right?
I'll make the
Okay,
motion.
make the motion. Restate the motion.
Correct. That we're gonna, that $1,534.96 be included in the retirement system for county employee.
I second that motion.
Been motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it.
Who second that?
Jack. Let me get my papers right. Now we're going into public comments. First, we have Ms. Shayla Hayes. And I think you have a handout at your desk about the Gates County Community Garden.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Shayla Hayes. I am a health educator at Albemarle Regional Health Services, the Gates County Health Department, and I'm the coordinator of Gates Partners for Health. And I just wanted to briefly come before you all to share the news that Gates Partners for Health has received some funding through the Biden Roanoke Chowan Hospital to start a community garden, as well as to support existing community gardens in the county. And so I'm coming before you all to just announce that we are hosting a interest meeting for anyone in the community who's interested in being a part of this initiative. If you are a gardener, a grower, farmer, somebody who has a green thumb, even if you are an individual who knows nothing about growing but are interested in starting your own garden, or just wanting to be a part of an initiative to increase access to healthy foods in the community and to promote food security in the community. We're inviting you out to join us for this meeting. This meeting will be held on Thursday, December 8th at 6 p.m., and that will be held at the Gates County Public Library. Again, we open that meeting up to anyone who's interested in just learning more about this initiative. Coming to the meeting, we will not assume that you want to be a part of it. We'll be discussing more details about this initiative, opening up the floor for conversation, to share about resources or any other information related to healthy foods in the county, and then the opportunity for individuals to sign up to volunteer to be a part of this initiative. So I just wanted to come and share that information this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Forsythe, Corpy.
I'm Dave Forsythe. I'm from Core Peak, 37 Desert Road. Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman, Sheriff, members of the public. I had a statement I was going to read, but the actions of this board in private session coming out and withdrawal of a motion that was on the table that was called for a question twice last time to now be squelched in private and nothing shared with the public. I can say I'm horribly disappointed, but it doesn't surprise me from this board. I'm sure there's actions, and I did go and read the North Carolina Code concerning personnel actions and y'all's responsibilities on that before I came to this meeting. Quite frankly, the comments I was going to make seem a little OBE now, and all I can do is ask you to encourage it somehow. We know more about a public motion that was made, called for the question twice, and then now totally squelched without ever the vote actually occurring. That's not consistent with Robert's Rules of Orders as I understand them, but so be it. I will say this, that, you know, up until this point, until this year, Mr. Owens thought you were doing a great job as a commissioner, but to be honest, I think part of the reason you lost the election was because of the behavior of the board, county manager, the rudeness that goes on, the apparent conceit that's seen by many and noted out here during this meeting is part of the reason for your non-reelection. And I think y'all need to be aware of that. Quite frankly, it's disconcerting as a member of the public to see one more time where something seems to happen and we don't hear about it. We're not going to know anything, a public question. That's disappointing to say the least. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, whether it's a land purchase that nobody knows the reason for and we're searching from groping for an answer, a reason to buy land, or if it's deaths that are being bought or not bought, or if it's, you know, water system employees being harangued in public, or other members of the county offices being fired or let go for failing to bow down low enough. I mean, all these things wear on us as the public. And quite frankly, I'm sad that it went that way for you, Mr. Owens, but at the same time, I will be honest, I'm glad there's going to be a change. Unfortunately, the third seat, Mr. Freeman, I'm sorry you're going, I really am. That seat still seems to be unsettled, that there's going to possibly be more consideration for that. But I don't think this is going to be an end to this controversy and disconcernment by the public. Going along with that, you know, I've come in here 3 or 4 months in a row now talking about water line leaks. And I've seen a public water department person abused publicly. It was what originally got me to come to these instead of just watching them on YouTube like so many people do. And every month come in and point out how there's a gigantic water leak on Desert Road. It's still there today. I walked by and checked. The only thing different is that they've painted a white line noting where the leak is. And I asked, thinking I'm gonna go up there and ask the landowner if I can hammer in a wooden V-notched weir that can actually measure the amount of water that's running through there, because it's so sickening to see it going on month after month after month after month. But these are the kind of things that go on. The water department person wasn't good enough. You harangue them and abuse them. Months and months later, with your new staff in place, handpicked by individuals of concern, and there's no difference. So, quite frankly, I'm disappointed. And there'll be people come here and say, oh, I'm so sorry for the abuse you take. Y'all have hard jobs. There's no doubt. Y'all have hard jobs. People harass you. People give you grief. They say bad things about you and to you on the thing. But you bought into that. You bought into that when you accepted the position you ran for office. And this quiet sort of reserved demeanor is not impressive. It's annoying to many. And I'm now getting to where every time I speak like this, I get a lot of people contact me to say, I really appreciate you saying that. I don't want to stand up in public and say it, but I appreciate you doing that. And again, I hope there'll be a change. The condescending demeanor is not good, and the quiet resolution of something behind the doors. I was originally going to ask you, Mr. Owens, hey, you lost your election because of the behavior of certain individuals here. You should vote to get rid of that individual, but that's OBE now. So anyway, I'll just say again, disappointed on behalf of the public. Good evening.
Mr. Earl Roundtree.
I gotta get the card here. Now y'all know why I'm retired. You can see that between my heart and my legs and everything else. Y'all stayed back there so long, Pitt, I forgot my speech. Let me say real quick, this is not on my speech. David Forsythe, been speaking. Man, and Linda's a lady. called me up after the last meeting, David, said, who is that man that's speaking from Core Peak? Said, he's a smart guy, I like him. Said, I think he ought to run for county commissioner. True story. And he can win. First of all, let me say, reason I said I was retired, 70 years in politics this year, 50 years in Gates County politics, Ray, never done nothing, but I've been here fighting. It's a special night for me because something that has taken me 50 years to get done, and I'm ready to retire. When Emily Truman ran and won as a unaffiliated and finally broke the chain of command of Democrats running this county. And there's a quick thing I want to say. Emily got 58.33% of the vote. Well, that's a significant number because that is, if you add up the state, hey, I'm on camera. If you add up the state judges, and I know Pitt knows all of these figures, but Gates County basically went 58% Republican. Real quickly, Chowan County is 60%, close. Paquima's at 70%. Camden, Currituck, 75%. But what has made me so happy this year has and ready to retire, that I think every candidate that I backed, some of them physically and some of them with money, won. And if you're not going to go out on a limb like that, it's time to go out. And it was brought up to my attention tonight back here that how close I was calling the election on the board. And I said that Jonathan was going to get 65%. I think that's what I said. Yeah, 65, and you got 64 something. God, that was good. Call the same thing on Truman. Luck. But what I do not understand is the fact that and this is what I wanted to put out to the board. We got an election coming up in 2 years and we're going to change things. But this is what I want to put out to the board. That's the fact that the county has changed, Ray. These folks, I don't know what, I'm not saying, I wanted to say this in the beginning. Everything that I say has nothing to do with personalities. None of it is personal. Y'all are politicians. I'm a citizen. First Amendment says I can say about anything I want to about you as long as it's true. And everything I put on this paper is true. But the county has changed. And y'all are not changing. Get that. Jack Owens and I said Jack was going to get 44% of the vote. Jack couldn't even get 44% of the vote. And he's been a commissioner, for 12 years? And I thought you and I were friends. And I don't know what happened to you. I really don't. It's a shame. We got to wait 2 more years. Here is the things that has come up. We are a county that has changed from the old line Democrats back when they were, Francis Mitchell wouldn't even let you register as a Republican, and many of y'all older ones know that. You go in to register, and she said, you can't register as a Republican because you can't vote. I've heard that story many times. She told me that. I moved back to the county. I know that's the truth. That's no joke. But let's look what has happened, and I'll close up here. That Republicans, we had the district attorney, district court judge, superior court judge, all Republicans. Gates County, with the primaries, we carried them all. Of course, in the Republican primary, y'all didn't vote. But we are out here with these other counties, but we cannot afford. I don't know where y'all are spending the money. Why is our taxes so much? What's Chowan taxes, 66 cents? Pass per tank, I didn't write this down, I was kind of in my head. These other counties around us don't have a tax rate of 82 cents. Where y'all wasting the money? And I hope that we can get enough, that somebody out here will listen to Jonathan Craddock, listen to Emily, and get that third vote that we need to turn this county around. It says my time is up. I've said all I wanted to say anyway, but I will say this. Linda, school teacher in Regional Life, the 7 deadly sins. You've heard of the 7 deadly sins. And what is the number 1 deadly sin? Pride. Pride. And I don't know if y'all voted tonight. I feel like it was just your pride that you could not admit that you made a mistake. Instead of being in favor of the county, what's good for the county, y'all have pride. It's your pride that did it. Thank you.
Carol Ward.
Next.
What is it?
He said he's a skip.
Oh, okay. Crystal Saunders.
Good evening, County Commissioners, Sheriff, Attorney, neighbors. I didn't have much to say tonight. Mr. Jack Owens, I just want to thank you for your time served. Thank you for your time served, and I know you've taken a lot of hits lately, but that's okay. That's okay. The good book tells us sometimes we're going to go through that. So it'll be okay after a while. And I listened to things that have been said, and, you know, coming to these meetings this year, it made me look at this county a whole lot differently. And I've looked at this county, and some things I knew as a little girl, some things I thought as a little girl, some things I've seen as a grown woman. And to the general public, this county ain't a beautiful place. The people are not presenting themselves as beautiful people. And it shows. It shows, and it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing. And I take my hat off to each and every one of you county commissioners that are actually working, doing things. And I pray and I hope that our 2 newest county commissioners coming forth, Roundtree and Truman, understand that this is a job. This is a job. It's not about personal stuff. We're supposed to be working for the greater good of the county, for the greater good of the county. And I see people come up here yelling and screaming and saying stuff like this is personal. This is a business meeting. It is very disheartening. No, we may not like every decision that this board makes, but the thing is, instead of coming to this meeting and yelling and screaming at the county commissioners, have you called them? Have you went to the office? Have you sat down and had a conversation and asked the question, why? How many? You know, I was out one day during the election, and this young lady says, well, da-da-da-da-da. I said, have you been to a meeting? Have you even watched a meeting? But they said, who is that? If I want to know something, I'll ask Mr. Ray Freeman, because when I see him in the store, I speak. If I want to know something, I'll ask my former school teacher, Miss Linda Hoffler. I'll definitely ask Dr. Reddick. Mr. Wilson, when I come down here, I can ask him questions. Not afraid to ask Mr. Jack Owens, and definitely not afraid to ask Mr. Craddock. And if it gets that serious, I'll even stop by Attorney Godwin's office and ask him. That's how you do things. Seek to understand, people. Seek to understand that this is ridiculous what we have going on in this county, and then, you know, people come up to this podium being ugly and like you're bullying. We grown folks in here. Every last one of us in here are grown except for that baby back there. And we ought to be teaching him and showing him how to act during a business meeting, because there's a certain decorum that should go on. You know, but this is just my 2 cents. But I really came up to say thank you, Commissioner Jack Owens, for your time served. And Godspeed, sir.
The next agenda item, the next agenda item is old business, the board consideration of contract for lobbying services. That's in your packet. Okay, we discussed that before. We had some questions and we returned it to Mr. Steinberg. And I think he answered the questions, or did he not? Because there were several questions that we wanted clarified before we could even consider approving or disapproving this contract. Is this discussion?
If I may, Madam Chair, there was some questions at the last meeting concerning the reporting by the lobbyist to the board, how frequently and what form would that occur. There was language added to the contract. It's on your second page under number 1, compliance, second paragraph, subsection A, and it reads, during the course of this contract, I, Bob Steinberg, will be providing quarterly updates to the Gates County Commissioners, County Manager, while the NC General Assembly is in session, leading up to a finalized state budget for each year of our 2-year contract for the 2023-24 legislative biennium. In addition, I will be available to meet in person at any time with Gates County Commissioners and/or the County Manager upon request of same, subject to reasonable advance notice. I think that would cover the board's concerns pretty comprehensively in terms of Mr. Steinberg's ability and willingness to communicate his efforts on behalf of the county.
Are there other questions for clarification?
I would want to revisit a statement that Commissioner Freeman made, I believe. The comment was made 2 for 1. You remember sort of reiterating that? So this is both parties, Mr. Steinberg and the other gentleman, for one price. Is that right?
No, this is a contract for just Mr. Steinberg. I just received the other day the contract from Stansel. I'm trying, Lansing, I think was his last name. It reads almost identical to this. Now, both of them will be serving, and the price that you see in this one contract, that is half the amount that they stated to this board originally. So there'll be 2 contracts, but the price will be that one singular price that they quoted you. And his contract did not arrive in time to have it placed on this agenda. He has submitted it. As we look for guidance from the board, it was essentially the exact same contract that we saw here, but also it did not have any language concerning reporting. Would the board like that same language in his contract?
Well, I would think that upcoming commissioners too. Now, did I just understand it? So it will be double the 15? In other words, Stansel will have 15 and Steinberg have 15?
Yes, the
So
amounts
3.
were the same, but it's I think if the total was I believe it was 34,000. And if you look at the 2 contracts, what Mr. Steinberg has here is 1/2 of the amount that when the 2 gentlemen were here quoted you.
Okay.
So yes, there won't be an increase. There's not an increase in the cost. And, I was actually anticipating that maybe it would have been one singular contract with both parties, but they preferred to keep their contracts separate, but that the price they quoted this board is on spot, right on mark with this contract being 1/2 of that amount, and Stansel's contract will be the other half.
So the figure is
in essence would be-
36,000.
Yes, it was pretty close to that 34 because they actually, this contract, it was just a little less because he could not start right. Talking about Mr. Steinberg, he has to wait until February. He could not do the full, 12 months in that 1 year. But I did run the numbers on it, and his contract was 1/2 of the quoted amount. And from Stansel, his would be the second half. In his contract, when I reviewed it, it did read, I think, just about identical to this original contract, minus the added language that's been placed in here. And I was going to ask the board this evening, do you wish to see that same to appear in his? Because the way they represented to the board was that Mr. Steinberg was going to be the feet on the ground here in northeastern North Carolina, and the other lobbyist, he was really going to be concentrating his efforts there at the General Assembly. So I wasn't positive, did you want the same type of reporting, or just having the reporting from one, since they will be working in tandem? Is that sufficient for the board? Or would you like me to ask Stansel to add this language to his as well?
So he would be working, Mr. Stansel was working from Jones, what he described in, as I read that, in Jones Street, right, is Jones Street.
Yes.
So actually it's double the 1,500 per month.
Yes.
And that concerns me, but I'm thinking as far as Commissioner Owens and myself, we're not going to be on the board. I would like for our new commissioners to have the opportunity to review that and make that decision.
Yeah. And that contract, it's not here for his contract, because I was, the inquiry was made to me by Mr. Steinberg, had Jones Street sent me the contract, and I said, no, I have not received any contract, and I just received it just the other day and saw that it did not have this language. But I didn't want to advise him until I asked the board, since Mr. Steinberg was supposed to be the local feet on the ground here in northeast North Carolina, and the other representative was going to be feet on the ground there at the General Assembly.
I thank you for furnishing that to us and had that opportunity to read that. But I have been reading 1,500, so I'm glad you explained that to us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if we do a contract with both of them, it'd actually be $3,000 a month?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Per month.
Per month.
Any other discussion or questions?
I hear what Commissioner Freeman's saying, and I think it would be appropriate for us to sort of bow out and let the new board make that decision.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
It's been properly moved and second that we table this decision until the new board is seated on December the 5th. I think that's the day that they'll be seated, and we will have that on the agenda for that evening, with no decision to be made, because they're going to need time to read it and study it. So we'll have it on the agenda for just a general discussion, so we won't lose track of it. And for a later date, probably the next meeting that we schedule, then a decision will be made whether or not to approve.
And I'll tell both parties that it was the consensus of the board that they wish to consider both contracts at the same time and not separately.
Do I need a motion for that, or did I just have one?
We just had a motion, hadn't voted.
Motion and a second.
Okay. Had a motion and a second, and I've added trying to write as I go. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, where are we? New business, the GIS update policies, Director Patrice Lassiter. Ms. Lassiter is not here tonight. The county manager will handle this on her behalf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, Ms. Lassiter, she did have some family medical issues that prevented her from being here this evening. But what you have before you, these are 6 different policies and bylaws that are used by GITS. And as you know, GITS receives funding from various sources. Just during a compliance review of GITS, it was noted that each of these needed, and you can see the memorandum from Ms. Lassiter, some fairly minor changes to update or to insert some language. It's almost a housekeeping type issue, as I call it, but it is very important that these be updated and kept updated appropriately. And I would recommend that the board approve these policy and bylaw changes. And it is important that the motion to do so does include the name of each of the 6 identified policies, which are listed on the front page memorandum there. Because many of these agencies, they like to see it in the motion in the official minutes of the governing body that it was adopted, and that's why it's important to actually state the name in the actual motion.
And this is something we do every year, that we have to do every year.
Yes, it's a compliance review. The changes are minor. They're not of any detriment or severe consequence to the county, and it keeps us in good standing with our funding agencies.
I'll make the motion
And
that.
and having experience, I think, have you sat on that board? I've sat on that board with Ms. Lassiter, and also sit on the board with our regional board at Albemarle Regional Health Services. And the only issue that has come up most recently was that of COVID. There were many and some employees who refused to take the COVID shot. Therefore, they were, and I have to give the Albemarle Regional, what happened is they were offered to keep their job at the same salary and just do something different, that they were not in contact with the public. And I thought the director and the rest of our commissioners on that did a great job in looking after those folks. So, and I didn't see that in the contents of this. Did you see that?
No, but this was more about the, if you look at the things that were listed, the vehicle advertising guidelines, grants, and all non-state employment.
Except for labor
Yeah.
protections. That's on there too. So that's there.
I think I heard the county manager say that in our minutes, they wanted the motion to include these 6 points.
To name each
To name each point in your motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this policy for the vehicle advertising guideline policy, grant and financial management policies and procedures, cash management policy, ADA policy, procurements and third-party contracting, GETS, TAB, advisory board bylaws.
I'll second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and seconded that we accept the vehicle advertising guideline policy, grants and financial management policies and procedures, cash management policy, ADA policy, procurement and third-party contracting, and GETS TAB advisory board bylaws. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Commissioner comments? Mr. Prater.
Just want to thank everybody to come out tonight. I always enjoy seeing your faces, and look forward to seeing y'all next time. Thank y'all.
Ms. Hoffler.
I would like to thank you for coming out tonight. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Owens and Commissioner Freeman for their work over the years with the board, and I wish them well in retirement. We'll have a few less headaches going forth, and that for y'all. And looking forward to the new year.
Mr. Freeman, Commissioner Freeman.
Thank you, ma'am. As I know I've made a few speeches on our comments, but as this being the last one, I certainly want to, first of all, thank all of you for being the foundation of the Constitution in Gates County. You've been invaluable on what you tell us, on what you educate us with, and that covers the issues with us and makes us make decisions for you. My prayer is that this will always be the case, that our commissioners will listen to the public, that they will listen to your will and what you'd like for us to do. Sometimes you've probably heard that we know what's best for you. That's not the case. You know what's best for you, but we have to make that decision one way or the other. So I want to say that with I know you love this county, or you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be involved, even those that are not here tonight. However, we love this county too. I love this county, love this country. And we are fortunate to be here and to be actually attending and voting on something that is important to all of our citizens. It has been a pleasure to serve with these commissioners, Commissioner Craddock, Commissioner Owens, Commissioner Hoffler, and other commissioners that we have served with, Commissioner Felton, Commissioner Jordan, who we all miss, and we miss his intellect. I have been fortunate to have served with all of them. And so I thank you for letting me do that and for giving me that ear. But we learn from each other, and we learn from what's put in front of us. Some of it is CRAP, but others really make some real sense. So thank you for bringing those things about. Now, am I concerned for the county? Absolutely. I think that as we, as your commissioners, as we look at our commissioners and as we look at looking forward to a chairman, I think sometimes we need to take in consideration that has that person been elected or have they been appointed before you appoint them or name them chairman, because you've never served on a board and not have an opportunity for the rest of us to see how they're going to act and what they're going to do. That's important to you. Not just important to us. We don't really care. Some of us have served as chairman, and I don't know that we really had any enjoyment in doing that. I know that I'll speak for myself there. But we want to make sure that you have a voice. It appears sometimes that we have been rubbed the wrong way. That's not really the case. We try not to show that, and I hope we have not. But that's not unforgettable in life, but politically, that is unforgivable. Politically, that is unforgivable. So don't forget that. Want to thank all the county employees. I want to thank all of my colleagues that sit here today, as well as all of you. At the same time, I want to thank all our veterans because this is an important week. Today and every day, we are grateful. Grateful for all of you, grateful for all of us that are sitting here. Thank you, Father God, for letting that happen. The veterans and others, our county employees, our deputy sheriffs, our police officers, our officers all over, thank you for serving our county. Thank you for serving our country and protecting our freedoms. I want to say that, and protecting our freedoms, and that's why you are here. The values have taught me how can I trust, and those values continue to roll. But thank you for letting me serve you, and that's it. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Commissioner Owens.
Thank you for allowing me to serve the county that I love, Gates County, for 12 years. And hadn't really thought about how the other people that I've served with that are not here today, but there's 12 years, there's been a few of them, and I enjoyed serving with those. And I think I've shaken the hands of everybody up here already. I've enjoyed serving with you folks as well. And to the citizens of Gates County, I would ask that you take a moment and think about supporting the new board. They're going to be here to serve you as well, and I think that they'll do a good job. Give them the benefit of the doubt and do everything that you can to support them, and Gates County will prosper and be a better place to live because of that. I thank you very much.
Since this is the last meeting of this board that's sitting before you, I want to ask the county manager, not county manager, the county attorney, if he has anything to say.
Well, as Jack has said, I think the future is in the hands now of the new people, and it's been a pleasure serving with my cousin Ray and with you, Jack, and look forward to working in the future with the new appointees and let's be positive about what we can do in this county, and let's work together, and let's be kind to one another about that, and try to get on the same level and think about the same goals, things that'll be best for everyone. Thank you.
County Manager, you have anything to say?
I echo the same sentiments as the county attorney.
Okay. As far as the chair updates, I have one special one. December the 5th, our next meeting is on a Monday. That's when we will have seat the new county commissioners. They will be sworn in. We invite you to bring your family and friends and take pictures. But after we do all of that and we go into work, there are certain things that have to be done in a timely manner. One is the water, wastewater. If you were here or saw it on the live feed or YouTube last week, you saw Mr. Tart. He has some hard deadlines that the county has to make, some policies that we have to get on the books and keep it moving so that we can be more engaged and get the funding, if it's available, that we need for this county, $9-point-some million. So if you didn't see that, go back and rewind it and look at it. Also, broadband, I had a conversation with Steve Brewer yesterday. Brightspeed have won the great grant, $3.6 million. That contract will be ready at the end of the month. The county manager will receive it, and I'll get a copy so that they can start deploying. Mr. Arnold Bright, sitting in the back, has been working diligently on broadband. We have 3 ISPs. We have Brightspeed, we have Roanoke Connect, and Spectrum. There will be 2 meetings this month before the end of the month, one on the 21st and one on the 29th. Then there will be another one in January the 12th, I believe, that we will be sitting with all 3 of them, trying to make sure that we get deployed and get the broadband like it's supposed to. We're still working on the housing. They're being repaired, they're being replaced, so that's going as well as can be expected. Prayerfully, that'll be all the houses, hopefully, prayerfully. They'll be done, if not by the end of December, sometime in January. If you have not seen those houses, I suggest you drive by them. Just call us and we'll tell you where they are so you can see the new houses. The last one to be done is Ms. Heshbeth. And she's moved in with her grandson, I believe, or going to, and her daughter's living next door to keep an eye on the progress. So that's the final house that we have to get done, and we're working diligently. I want to thank the county attorney, county manager, and Anthony Saunders for leading that, as well as others in the county that's helped us with that grant. And finally, we have some legislative goals that we have to vote on with the other 99 counties. So I'll be leaving tomorrow morning for Raleigh to make sure that Gates County is at the table, not only at the table, but we'll vote on those goals. We've had them now for over a year. I've served on the committee for the last year. So tomorrow morning, I will be doing that on your behalf. I was supposed to be there today. I said no because I had a board meeting today. So I'm driving in tomorrow morning to be there to make sure that Gates County is not only at the table, but gets to vote. And pay attention, please, to Chowan, Bob Kirby. Many of y'all know him. He's spearheading what they're calling resiliency of the Chowan River. They're having issues with that, and he's very concerned, and he's pushing that as fast as he can. It's going to help all of us, the Albemarle Sound and all those tributaries that we have. So if you want to know more about that, he'll be at the meeting tomorrow as well. He's probably there now. But pay attention to that, what his efforts are in Northeast North Carolina with our tributaries and our water system. That's all we have tonight. Thanksgiving is coming. Jim's, that's right. Jim's,
The food drive is Saturday morning at the old dental office.
Medical Center Road.
What?
Medical Center Road.
Medical Center Road, 8:30, I believe, is the starting time. To what? 10. So please come out and spread the word.
Have a safe, thankful Thanksgiving, grateful, and we'll see you December the 5th at 5:30.
7 for the regular meeting?
It's the 5th. It has to be.
but it's got to be on like Monday in
It
the
is-
morning.
That's the,
Okay.
it's the,
Okay, you're talking for this way.
we'll look at it. We'll send out something, but it has to be December the 5th.
It has to be the first Monday.
So that's when we're going to meet to seat the new board Again, thank you for coming and drive safely home. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We are adjourned.